the DRC question?
Sure.
All right, I wanted to ask you, I've asked several days in a row about the UN's either support for the fight against the FDLR or direct fighting against the FDLR, and Stéphane said repeatedly, just ask MONUSCO, this is a mere detail. Now, clearly, a self-described senior UN official has said that the UN is withholding its support because of two generals, Bruno Mandevu and Sikabwe. So I wanted you, one, to confirm that. Two, I wanted to know why Stéphane was saying it's a mere detail and ask MONUSCO if DPKO was going to provide this information to select journalists. And I also wanted to know what you had...
You're basically misquoting Stéphane. He didn't call it a mere detail. He mentioned operational
He
details.
said, and I asked him, are you supporting the fight against the FDLR? And he said that's an operational detail. Ask MONUSCO.
Not a mere detail. That's a misquote.
Oh, okay. All right. I think when you say detail, so why? Okay, let me ask this. If the UN system has said, including the special representative that you named, that fighting the FDLR is so crucial, how can it be that now the UN doesn't do it, citing its human rights due diligence policy, which it never enforced after the Mandevu rapes, as an excuse for not fighting the FDLR? That's the
First
question.
of all, I disagree that the human rights policy was not enforced during the Mandevu rapes. It was.
Was support ever suspended?
Yes, it was. In fact, support is suspended to the 41st Battalion, which is not engaged in operations against the FDLR right now. Second of all, MONUSCO support to the Congolese Armed Forces, or FARDC, operations is provided in compliance with the United Nations Human Rights Due Diligence Policy. The policy requires the United Nations to ensure that its support to non-UN security forces will not contribute to grave human rights violations. I wish to underline that this policy has been implemented by MONUSCO in close collaboration with the DRC authorities for the past several years. The appointment of two Congolese generals to lead this operation, who are known to us as having been heavily involved in massive human rights violations, is of grave concern. I can confirm the discussions are underway at the highest level with the DRC government to address these concerns. In line with the policy, the provision of support to units where there is concern about potential human rights violations requires remedial measures to mitigate risks. If, because of the past record of units or their commanders, there's substantial grounds to believe that there's real risk that they commit grave human rights violations, support to those units will be withheld unless adequate mitigating measures can be put in place.
So is there any support currently by, thank you for that, and it should have been probably said yesterday or but anyway, thank you for it now. Since Mr. General Mandevu is in control of the whole FDRDC action against FDLR, is there any support whatsoever going from the UN to this operation?
Like I said, the discussions are underway at the highest level. If there's anything to say about the extent of our support, you just heard what our line is. That if we have those concerns, then that is what will need to happen. Yes.